Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second part of the podcast of Digital Action Lab, cohort one. And we will start this podcast with the question: what inspired you to join the Digital Action Lab, and what drew you into this mission? Andres.
Okay, thank you. Well, what inspires me? I think the first thing that when I saw the information about the Digital Action Lab was why not? Why not? Because it's an opportunity to create. This is the Digital Action Lab. So the word lab gives me ideas about that is a laboratory that we can create experiments that maybe we can fail and maybe we can have successes. So be part of a laboratory related with digital action sounds really good and sounds like a big opportunity to share people from other countries. That is something really interesting for us, for our organization, because we will have the possibility to connect with other countries to understand how they see the democracy, the participation in the governance, the participation with activism. And this was so important for us. And we decided to join and see what happened. That was the funny thing. See what happened. Huh?
For us, the Digital Action Lab quite resonated with the initiative that we have in Freedom Studio as well. In Freedom Studio, we have initiative called the Artivism Lab. And as the Andres mentioned, the lab sounds quite fascinating for us. We can experiment the thing where like-minded individuals can join. They can share the things and we can try out. So there was no fear of failure. There is only, we come with the heart of learning, not just about being failure or any kind of fear as well. So that's how we imagine joining this cohort as Digital Action Lab. And similarly, we also find out that they are working, integrating the component of activism and technology together. And that's quite fascinating for us as well because back home we are working, integrating the component of art, culture, and media. So that we think Digital Action Lab could be a best platform for us to immerse and to contribute to our own community, learning from the diverse cohorts. So yeah, that's how we started.
Interesting. Okay, Women Trust. One of the work that we do is advocacy for Indigenous women. So when we bumped onto the call on LinkedIn, and the description was civil societies that are working on democratic projects, and this was going to be a digital thing and also a lab. So most of them are going to try out. So when we saw the call, we were intrigued. We wanted to advance our efforts digitally because previously we had not done any intervention digitally, basically because we think Indigenous women do not need the digital space. So to see a call for a grant where you're going to try out was very interesting for us because we were going to try out the digital space, having no experience prior. How was it for you, Chi?
Similar from yours. So for us, the core really was to strengthen the meaningful participation, like the ASMECO. So one of our services as Development 360 is to advocate for young people's rights, women's rights, men's rights. So in this particular context, some young people have the platform, but are they meaningfully participating? No. They belong to political structures at civic level, district level, national level, yes. But the thing is that they were being used as instruments to usher in the elderly into power and not to recognize as a force that they could also reckon with as young people. So for us, it was a thing of having to try out the innovative part of it, which is the digital space. If we could use this platform that is hooking young people for entertainment purposes, but to try and, what can I say? To try and use it to the advantage to promote learning purposes as opposed to entertainment only. So that's how we came up with the proposal to test how it would work up in the digital lab.
item for us. It was really an internal call to upgrade in some way because my organization was working in the field of protecting civil rights like for 20 years already, and we just realized that we want to do some digital product which will last, which will be sustainable, which will be accessible for many people, and yeah, digital product came to our mind and we saw this goal and we're really happy to be parting of this. But what about you, Habib?
For us, our organization, our main objective is to use technology and art to improve governance performance and citizen engagement. So, as a young organization, Digital Action Lab, in the call, you see capacity building. You see the opportunity for us to experiment new tools, and we have our primary initiative where we experimented in the lab now. But so we're looking at how we can experiment our tool, and it came at the right time because we're a young organization. Unlike IDEM, we are 3 years old. She's 20 years old. So we want to build capacity already. So it's like a marriage made from heaven. So it's a no-brainer for us to actually apply for it.
Okay, so this this all are some internal motivations that our organizations had, which are brilliant. So what can you say about some external motivations? Maybe we could start with Ella.
Not as much, but I would say the external motivation for us is digital transformation that is happening all around. And for a long time, for us, prior to the research that we did, we actually left out our indigenous women in the digital aspect. Always this thought we need to reach to them physically and using the old methods. So that was the case for us. I don't know about you, Andres.
Well, I was thinking about the experience that we have with a digital transformation, because in our organization, we believe that we are doing the things well until somebody check your processes. It's something crazy. And with the digital transformation that we have here in the Digital Action Lab, we realized that we have some processes inside our organization that was really, really, really slow. And maybe our information was disorganized. Maybe we have problems with security. That was something really important with the things that we manage inside our organization. So we start to understand that we have to keep going and keep learning about what's happening with the technology nowadays inside the organization, because there are a lot of tools, but the problem is that our knowledge is reduced in this kind of topics, and we need to understand that we need to keep learning.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel activism is such a long journey, and we could not get the tangible result within a year or like few years. So I think if the advocacy kind of thing is rooted to our own community, the love for our nation or a community people, then it can really sustain well. So I guess rooting towards our own community is one of the external factors that always motivated us to join the community like this, because one can know the various perspective from each other, and one can know the successful methodology from central part of the nation. So I think these are the things that quite motivate a lot from externally. So what do you think?
I would like to agree with you. Mainly, it's people from the community, because even by definition, what is democracy itself? It's the rule by the people and also for the people. It's contest. So I'll also agree and say it's mainly the community, but how does the community itself look at the democracy aspect? Are they really involved? Is it something that they're willing to overlook So even as we are raising awareness through the advocacy and trying to create deliberate policies that will include everybody, it still comes down to the community wanting to participate. So I agree with you.
I want to hear what do you think, Luis? What do you think about your internal motivations and external motivations to be here at the Digital Action Lab?
There were several things that inspired me to join the Digital Action Lab, and I could mention a couple of them. First of all, I will say that the experimental approach of the Digital Action Lab was very interesting for me because allow us as part of the civil society organizations to use technology in an experimental way to improve our work, improve the way how we operate, and create more efficient solutions to our communities and to our countries. And also like the opportunity to create this and experiment with technology in a safe space with civil society organizations from the global south across the world, people coming from different backgrounds with different experiences, working on different and also with some similarities projects and initiative. I think the space that the Digital Action Lab created nourished our work, not only from the technology perspective, but also from the human perspective of all this process.
Okay, interesting, no?
Great.
Yeah. So, continue with the conversation. How do your organization feel the digital transformation? How was that process?
Yes. And before I answer your question, I just talk about my own external motivation.
Okay.
For us, in sub-Saharan Africa, I come from Nigeria, West Africa, the sub-Saharan Africa, and I've said it before that since 2020, 4 countries have moved from democracy to military regime, and so the external motivation for us is to see how we can see, because those are our neighbors, those are 4 people, our neighbors, right? And you know how you can influence us. So, and if you look at what have made people move from democracy to military regime, we see that it's an issue of development, and that democracy is not bringing about the economic development that people want, and that's why that democracy is backsliding. And before it gets to our country, that's the motivation that allowed us to even start our organization in the first place, that we must continue to push our democratic leaders, quotes, because elections are a big issue for us to speak about. Elections are not a big issue. Our democratic leaders to work hard to bring about development, and that is one of the greatest motivation for us. We are in a dire time. We can lose democracy in our country, and if we don't develop.
Yes, Habela, and listening to your motivation and the rest of the motivation of the people in the room, I maybe tend to think on behalf of a listener that is looking at all the diversity and people that are this motivated and wondering, where did you find this information so that you came and joined this? So where did you first learn about Civicers, about this project, about the call? How was your experience?
Yeah, actually, I can answer to that. And so before it, once we realized that we should be more digital presence, it's when we understood how much, for example, simple thing, social media has so much influence right now on everyone, and politicians know that very well. So at that moment, we understood that we, as a civil society organizations, should have more presence, because who control narrative online control narrative offline, I think. Yeah, so at that moment, we started to actually we started looking for some opportunities to create some digital tool with our own narrative, with information, reliable information about human rights and why important, to probably protected. So that's how we already were kind of a part of a civicus as a network. And then we received the email about the digital action lab, and we are like, wow, yeah, that's what we wanted. Like, it was materialized from our some goals and dreams. Yeah. What about you, Chifu?
Um, and we have an alliance of CS. So one of our partner CSOs posted the opportunity to say, "Oh, you guys, if you have innovative ideas that could match the proposal, go for it." So for us, we already had a zeal to work with young people and also take advantage of the social media spaces that they take advantage of for entertainment purposes. I wanted to turn it into a meaningful platform where they get to participate in the country democratic spaces and not only use it for entertainment purposes and likes and views, but also tap into the political arena, the democratic spaces, learning purposes. So yeah, that's what mainly motivated us to take the course. Was advertised in the CSO WhatsApp group, which is also a digital tool. So yeah.
Wow, that what was like interesting. And I really think that what could be your expectation before joining Digital Action Lab? Like, what did you guys expected? How it could be, or something like this?
Okay, but what about if Ahmed answer that question? Hey, Ahmed, what do you think?
The most important part of the Digital Action Lab, it was not the funding itself. The funding was something we can get it from anywhere. But actually, two main things it was very useful. The co-creation or co-design modality that Cedicus use usually for this, it was very useful where you get some insights, you have many of expertise coming to help you on designing your project in a good way so we can guarantee the result at the end. Guarantee. And the second one, it was actually the technical support that the project provide during the whole lifetime of the project. And I think additional to those, the very friendly team of Digital Action Lab was really supportive. They understand the context and they try to help as much as they can.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You say it again?
Actually, I was asking that what's your expectation before joining the Digital Action Lab?
Asia. Well,
For Development 360, I knew that one of our expectation was capacity building in using these digital tools. I mean, digital tools is a broad word, but when it comes down to specific platforms, there's some of these applications that we were not acquainted to before joining the DDI, but now I'm confident enough to use some of these platforms even to tutor others. So for me, mostly it was capacity building.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't expected that thing to get happen, but I find that really good feeling and really empowering for our organization as well.
Okay, my expectation was one, the capacity building and community as well of like-minded civil society organizations. And I am glad that throughout the process, the capacity building has been more than what I actually expected. It's been very impactful to our organization. At the same time, we now have a whole network of like-minded organizations through the DAL, DDI, and as well we eventually became Civic Alliance. We joined the Civic Alliance as well through the process, and yeah, we are glad that we did. How about you, Javi?
For me, the capacity building, of course, like every other person, was really important for us at that point because we are a young organization. And the opportunity to test our idea is also a catch for us as well. And I think Haidem was saying something. Okay, about how we got the call. Before we got registered, fortunately, Civicus was our first the first who gave us the Solidarity Fund. And so we have been an associate member for a long time, since 2021, even before we registered. So we have been following civic also. When we saw the call, we also it's aligned with our core mission, and we applied as well.
So you saw the call in your email?
On LinkedIn.
How?
Yeah, on LinkedIn. What got to my mail was on LinkedIn.
I think for our organization was raise awareness in the youth and adolescents and to expand our project because our project was theatrical project. So our audience is reduced comparing with the social media. So social media, you can reach thousands of people, hundreds of people. So when we be part of the Digital Action Lab, we want to create a tool that youth and adolescents love, understand, and be clear. That is so really important because when we talk about politics, democracy, everything is so confused sometimes. So the idea was that they understand that it's important, but they understand the concepts clear. And that was one of the main things. And here, during the process, sharing with you all ideas was something really, really important. We participated in the Civic Fest. Was fantastic because being part of a festival in another country, imagine in Africa, from people from Colombia, was really, really a meaningful experiences that we loved and was a result of be part of a digital action.
I am so agree with that because my expectation was, of course, we wanted some findings for our project, and of course, we want some capacity building and we had like the best like trainings on cybersecurity and like editing and etc. But the best part was actually to meet all the participants because I realized how many, of course, we are all different, but how many similarities do we have? And I really find some strength in that when we support each other, when we share with each other some advices, recommendations, I really feel like, oh, I'm not alone in this big fight for the democracy. True.
Yeah. Listening to everybody's experiences, like help us, the therapy, understanding that we have similar struggles in our countries. We have repression, we have issues, was actually something that was really, really interesting from different culture. I think it's really, really nice. I don't know.
So yeah, in addition to that, though we are so diverse and come from different part of the world, and we realize that we have shared problems and we can co-create the solutions as well. And that was the most thought-provoking thing during my entire journey. Yes.
Okay, to close this podcast, I want to invite you to say a little phrase that helps the people to participate in the Digital Action Lab. Something that you want to say to the people who wants to be part of this amazing program in a single phrase. For example, what do you think? What do you think, Luis?
Be bold enough to try. You do not know until you try.
Try not to use ChatGPT.
This is digital transformation of all of it.
I think that it's important that we think first before we use AI. We need to try to edit and talk to ourselves before we just ask AI, because we are still more powerful than artificial intelligence. I believe that.
Okay, I want to say that I want to invite you. I invite them to make mistakes. And be ready that all the projects that you maybe will have, their ideas will change. Because we know what we want to do, but we don't know the result, or we don't know how it's going to be the process.
I think I will say don't get fear of getting failure. Definitely you can try. And the most and foremost thing is that they want to hear your motivation and your real story, the story that makes you. So go for it.
It's great that you are thinking about it. Please take the first step. Get online, look for similar people, and you can start by even joining the Civic's Global Alliance. It could be your first step.
I would say you're not alone in this battle. Join the community.
Okay, so thank you for this amazing conversation, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.